Welcome, folks. It's the awful Creepypasta time, and we're going to read some stories today.
Folks.
Today we actually have two lost episode-ish episodes. I don't actually know if this one's a lost episode one, but it's kind of... It has to do with episodes of TV that are disturbing.
I haven't read that much of it, actually.
So this one is called Channel 198. I don't know why I am writing this, or who will see it, but please don't watch Channel 198.
Okay.
Next time on Alpha Creepypasta.
The end.
Let's start at the beginning.
No. Start at the end.
I don't know why I'm writing this, or who... Just kidding. Let's start at the beginning. I was a 6-year-old kid living life as normal my parents, who were big Christians, so they were large versions of my brother, and always went to church every Sunday. I didn't care for Christianity, but back then it was forced on me.
What?
When I was 8, my dad bought me a TV with a box which detects weaker frequencies so we could watch Christian-only TV shows. I remember the shows were just prayers and hymns.
Okay, apparently the ones with weak frequencies are only Christian
They're
shows.
only religious. I mean, they might
They're
be.
only...
I mean, if they are, then fact check us.
Maybe they're like local things, I don't know.
Anyway, the kids shows were okay, but they always kind of scared me. There was one kids show that was of really crappy quality.
It was called 1999.
Which was this Christian Blue Peter show called Omnis Morimur, which is a Latin word that I didn't understand. Yet I watched the show anyways because it was the only show that played on Wednesday, which was then I didn't have any homework, so I could watch TV. The man who ran it was called Ed Locker. He was the only cast member, aside from the crappy quality of the show. He was the one editing and recording. Oh. In the show, he just talks to people about their experiences with God.
He was the only cast member, by the way.
Yeah! And then sings a hymn or two.
Himself.
And then does some DIY or crafting thing. I watched this show frequently until I was 13. That's when my mom and dad decided to give up Christianity.
Yeah,
so I got a new TV.
They sound like hardcore Christians, so that
and
doesn't
my
make
family,
sense.
yeah, and my family got rid of that frequency box. Just out of curiosity, I taped the last couple of episodes of Omnis Morimur and watched them over. I will describe them to you. So here's Omnis Morimur, episode 98. Starts with Ed dancing with a few kids in the back garden. He starts singing a hymn and then talks to a woman who suffered temptation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good enough. Omnis Morimur, episode 99. Ed sings and then begins building a fort from boxes. Then him looking at a kid who had just seen a man drop his wallet. The boys deciding whether to pick it up and run or give it back. That's when the episode ends.
These are short
Next
episodes.
time on EastEnders. The years passed and I was moving out into an apartment whilst looking for clothes. So while he was looking for clothes, he was also looking for an apartment. I found the frequency box and plugged it in.
Street.
And went straight to channel 198. The show was just coming on, so I just sat down and watched.
They made 666
so
episodes.
Here's Omnis
of this,
Morimur, age 6, episode 666. It
But
starts
it's Christian.
It starts with Ed, who still hadn't aged, walking down a dirt road. He's outside a casino in Las Vegas, staring with contempt at Johnny Depp. Just kidding. At a drunk man. He says to the screen, "This man has accepted temptation." Did you get it?
Yeah.
Temptation and the devil, and now must pay. He then walks up to the man and says loudly, "Accept Jesus!" The man says in a sullen voice, "What?"
Fuck off.
Which
Ed shakes his
doesn't
head.
mean anything, really. Ed shakes his head and says, "Naughty man." He walks behind the man and, oh my god.
I thought you weren't religious.
He smashes the bottle over his head and then continuously stamps on his head, which, by this point, is revealing brain. He then turns to the camera and says, "Naughty." We just pointed at the freaky Fred in my brother's room with a wink. Behind him, you see the drunk man, and Ed goes, "The man behind me will be homework."
When did we get involved in this?
I was in disbelief. I switched off the box and threw it in the bin. Jesus Christ.
You said you weren't religious.
I'm never watching that again. I sat in bed, terrified and hoping it was fake. The next day when I woke up, I stumbled down to the kitchen.
It's like when Jeff fell down the stairs
Yeah.
in that one story.
The news was blaring. All my ears could catch was a clear voice on the news repeating, "Man beaten to death outside casino in Las Vegas." You know, that's not really that important. Like, I'm just not saying that death isn't important, but I'm saying that usually, like, when one person dies or, like, two people die in, like, something that isn't, like, a terrorist attack, it's usually, like, reported
It was probably Johnny
in the
Depp.
local news.
That's why.
Yeah, it was probably in the local news, and then they report it, like, once, and then they're done.
They're just
That's
trying
all
to
I'm
cause
saying.
fear and loathing.
In Las Vegas, yeah.
I was shaking at this point.
I was shaking at this point and deciding to anonymously call the police. I told them everything, and they kept saying in a reassuring voice, "We understand, and we know of the channel, and we're working on it." That night, I got the box and plugged it in to see if the channel was still on TV. And sure enough, there was
Of
Ed.
course.
There was Ed, looking at me. No, looking at a man who was strapped to a chair and trying to escape. Ed said, "Today, kids, we will be learning about following the rules of God." The man then screamed louder, and Ed said, "Be quiet, good friends. Things come to those who wait." That's when Ed put some kind of cat mask over his
And he
face.
became Garfield.
Yeah. Grabbed a knife and hid behind the door. He killed the communists. Killed them all. This was odd until a SWAT agent walked in and looked at the man strapped in a chair but couldn't see Ed. Ed pulled a gun out and shot through the wall, and the bullet went through the SWAT man's head. Even though there would be bulletproof helmets, bulletproof vests, trained people who, when noticing Ed about to shoot, would probably get the drop on him because he'd have a better gun.
Here's the thing. He's been doing ridiculous stuff for, this would be 667 episodes.
Yeah, this is 660 or 642.
We don't know. Why is this show still airing?
Well, I don't know. So, he pulled out a gun and shot the SWAT man. Not even a SWAT person, just a SWAT man. Ed ran through the house and out the front door and said, "This show is going to be off for a while, but don't worry, all shall soon be cleansed." The news was blasting. The SWAT team raided the house of the Christian TV personality Ed Locker and after a report of him murdering innocent non-Christians.
Brilliant.
The SWAT searched his house, finding dead bodies, some of which were children. Where they were, nobody knows.
I don't know.
The also discovered a camera that contains footage of the attacks. More tent swaps at 5 o'clock. Now I'm really scared. If anyone knows anything, help. I haven't left my house because I feel watched, as if he is watching. I think I'm going insane. Please help. His grammar got worse. Like it wasn't the worst grammar.
He's going
in the world.
insane.
It wasn't the worst grammar in the world, but it got worse.
My favorite comment of all time.
D. Let's see. Are there any other comments worth reading?
It was stupid. Thanks.
Here's this guy, Tails Doll Plant, saying, "Right, like some random religious fanatic can kill a trained SWAT officer with armor." Exactly what I'm saying. These are just jokes saying that it's scary.
Jokes.
They're not jokes.
It's jokes.
I mean, they are jokes.
Nothing worth reading.
So, thoughts?
Thoughts?
I'm not going to get into the religious aspect of it, even though, I mean, I know the religious aspect is hard to not get into.
Just don't get into it.
But all I'm saying is that it just... Because, I mean, you really don't actually have to get into this.
I did notice.
It just doesn't make any sense.
He was very inconsistent because he's like, "Oh, I'm not
the writer
really
of this
Christian."
story...
Is he a Christian?
Has a thing against Christianity.
He must.
Because the antagonists of the story are the parents who are like, "Oh, they forced me to watch Christian shows." And then the other one is this religious fanatic painting all religious people as these insane people who are going to kill everything. Well, the media, the big media and the police are the ultimate heroes of the story. Kind of, not really.
Sorta?
Like, they're the ones who are
The
like, "Oh,
protagonist
it's
is
gonna
on
be
the good side. I guess.
which is non-Christianity.
Which is non-Christian.
And
Even though he says probably more things
he
related to
says-
Christianity than anyone in this story.
And once again, I'm not going to get into the Christian like aspect and like debating about it. But all I'm going to say is this story could have just been about this story could have been 1999, completely unreligious, and it would have been the exact same story. Now onto an even more religious story, Spongecry.avi, the SpongeBob Lost episode.
I'm sure it's way more religious.
Here we go. Remember those old SpongeBob episodes which some of us used to watch in 1999 from season 1. Well, actually...
Subtle.
Well, recently, a secret episode has been discovered from that time period.
Subtle.
That time period when people used to...
High-def version of original pic posted. High-def.
That's not going to show up yet. I mean, that'll show up when it tells me. The other day, I was searching through my computer when I came across a notepad document deep within System 32.
Brilliant.
Having no idea how it got there, I scanned it for viruses. It had one Trojan in it. I deleted it and opened up.
Is this a different story?
He deleted it and opened it up. He deleted the file and then opened up the file. Great.
Because it's deleted. Also,
all that was...
you shouldn't do that. What? You shouldn't be opening up the Trojan files in the first place.
Well, he deleted it.
But you can't even do it after you've
Can
deleted
you open up Trojan files? Like, you can't open up the Trojan virus itself.
I don't know what you're doing.
It's a virus that's not supposed to be seen.
But, I mean, even theoretically, if you could open it, you probably shouldn't open it.
Exactly.
All that was printed was one website link, followed by the following gibberish.
For JF. Having not a single clue what it meant.
I continued by putting the site link, which I won't tell you in case anyone out there, if
stupid enough to
try it. That's nonsense.
Into my web browser.
It took me to a site.
What?
Well,
which there was a black background and a huge button. Cliches!
It had the same text on it that was in the notepad document. I clicked it, and it brought up a download link. The file would to be downloaded was called, not a sentence, Spongecry.avi. As crazy as I am, I went ahead and downloaded it. Well, you did delete the Trojan file and then open it.
Big mistake.
Big mistake.
The second the download installed, which was 4.6 megabytes, just
get
that out of the way. We're just world building.
My computer made...
We like to have fun in this. We like to have fun here, and I think that providing the details that really provides you guys getting invested. I mean, 4.6 megabytes. Well, I mean, what's your internet speed? I mean, how long would that take? It took me a second because I got the 50 megabytes per second from Time Warner.
Okay. My computer made the weirdest sound ever. Like a guy just screaming.
And turned off.
As I
tried to reboot it, nothing happened.
It's because it was a Trojan, wasn't it?
The file must have destroyed my computer. As upset I was, I realized I was on my old PC. I hopped over on my Mac and re-downloaded it. He re-downloaded the Trojan on his other computer. Darn, I just lost my $1,500 computer. Let's see if it works better on the Mac.
Okay,
Take that, Steve
Jobs. He gets
Jobs.
a file, and he says, it must have destroyed my computer.
Let's
I know what I'll do. I'll destroy my other computer. This time, there was no problem. What was downloaded was the single.avi file. No, well, I didn't expect that. I played it.
The movie clip was 6 minutes and 4 seconds long. It started out as any SpongeBob episode would. How did he know it was going to be SpongeBob? Sponge cry does not mean sponge. I was expecting it to be more like a cryotic fan fiction or like a sponge crying. Like, where does the SpongeBob come from other than the fact that you talked about SpongeBob in the prequel?
The prequel?
The little prologue, the header to the
beginning.
Story. Yeah, it's a little header. Okay. It's like the background info before the story started.
Yeah, I guess.
All I'm saying that is the guy didn't at this point talk about saying that it was a SpongeBob episode, right?
Yeah, not
Did
really.
He?
But
go
now
on.
It
Let me
is.
see.
Well, recently, a secret episode.
Yeah, it says nothing about
in a
SpongeBob.
Trojan file.
Okay.
And he's not saying that. He's like, recently a secret episode has been discovered. You wouldn't say
Doesn't
that
say
if
that.
you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say that if you discovered it, would you? You would say that I discovered.
Context is everything.
Thing. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay. So,
except the color was distorted, and when he got to playing the flute...
How was the color distorted? I mean, contrasted?
Yes. And when he got to playing the flute with his nose, it immediately went to the title screen.
All that was on the title screen was the following words. SpongeBob cry. Only there wasn't any jaunty music like there usually was.
Jaunty?
Jaunty's like...
Oh, you mean our intro for Awful Fanfiction?
What is... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's that. Playing right now. Oh.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
I know.
Okay, it's done.
Okay.
It lasted about 2.5 seconds. See? I timed it. Oh.
It didn't show who the writers and directors were. Thank God. I just assumed that whoever...
It was Zeus Service.
Put it, yeah. Whoever put it online had edited it for the time of or something.
Yeah, sure. That's why they edited in the Trojan file.
The episode started out inside SpongeBob's house. It showed SpongeBob sitting in his red chair.
The strange thing
was all of the other furniture was gone. SpongeBob was crying very hard. Ah! But it didn't sound anything like it does when SpongeBob normally cries. It sounded like a real human cry.
It sounded like that weird noise my computer made. No.
But it was different. It sounded so real and intense, unlike real cries.
Yeah.
It sounded real, unlike real cries.
Yeah.
SpongeBob was absolutely bawling. He was ripping chunks out of the chair. Then the camera zoomed really close in on his face, but it is as if the kind of zoom as if it was being videotaped by a real person. So this is an M. Night Shyamalan then?
Yes.
Then the camera zoomed out to show a rotting corpse of Gary lying on the floor in front of him. It was very disturbing.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for letting me know.
Now he's gonna go into it.
Gary was absolutely mauled to death.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to skip that. So, yeah, it describes his mauled body. The camera was moving around like crazy. SpongeBob suddenly got out of his chair and ran straight forward.
You didn't skip that much, actually.
I know. But it's still gross. Then the episode stops moving for about 1 second. And it goes to black for 2 seconds. Then it comes back with SpongeBob's face pressed against the camera for 4 seconds. Just kidding.
With his mouth
exploded open and eyes black for 3 seconds. And a definitely loud scream. I jolt up.
Right there, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really. That doesn't match the thing at all.
Not really, no. I jolt up and turn down my volume, and then the camera starts moving around like insanity.
Insanity is known for moving around.
It's a workout program, so I mean, I guess, but that's probably not what they were trying to say. You can't even tell what was going on. So I'm gonna describe.
It was worse than anything Pokemon could ever put out.
What? Are they referencing that weird thing where the kids got the seizures from the Porygon?
Maybe?
Yes, they are.
Or Lavender Town Syndrome? Something?
No, it was the thing where kids had the seizure from the Porygon episode.
But why are they referencing this?
But the thing is, I know that because I know that. I mean,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know.
I know that because I like Pokemon and I do a lot and I read about Pokemon with my a lot. But he doesn't like Pokemon that much, and a lot of people don't like Pokemon that much. So if it wasn't for me, like, probably half of you and my brother would have no idea what he's talking about.
Okay.
The clip then goes to black for 1 minute and 38 seconds.
Glad you counted.
It comes back inside the Krusty Krab, dead silent. All of a sudden, womp womp, what's new, pussy? No, I'm just kidding.
What's new, pussycat?
But it only lasted for about 1/4 of a second. Then for the rest of the movie, it goes back to SpongeBob crying in the chair. But after every 10 seconds, SpongeBob gets just a little bit more decayed, and the sound gets a little bit more distorted. By the end, all there is left is static and screaming. Then you can see SpongeBob running again in the background of the static. But, for the last 4 seconds, there's text on the screen that reads, "One-timed action will be badly." One-timed action will be badly. Why did you... One-timed action will be badly.
What?
I like badadly.
Badadly.
Showing up on the screen really close right now. Badadly. Exactly that. As if it was written by a preschooler. Not really.
A preschooler would not write badadly.
Did he just... badadly?
Okay.
Welcome to the Awful Creepypasta, where we read stories that are written badadly.
Very badadly.
After the clip finished, my computer shut down. How kind. After seeing this video, I've never been the same. I've been angrier, crueler, and more anxious than ever before. Well, that's what happened after I started doing Awful Creepypasta, so at least he's got that right. It has haunted my mind all the time. I regret downloading the video in the bad place.
Twice!
My life position has become much more badadly. I wish I could just go back and... The end.
Credit to Ecosia Drone.
Categories: computers and internet lost episodes. I'm surprised they didn't put in shock ending.
74 comments, though.
Let's read a few of the comments. I like this one much better than Hope is Lost. 8 out of 10.
I read Smile Dog, and I'm more scared here. How many zeros is that?
100 trillion out of 10.
100 trillion out of 10.
Don't judge, please. All right. Despite what others may say, I loved this when I first read it, and I love it now. I love reading Lost Episode pastas about shows and movies from my childhood, mostly because of the whole taking something innocent and comforting and making it frightening and strange thing. I'm the type of person who loves Lost Episode and gaming pastas, so sue me.
I will.
I even love a lot of the Pokemon ones, simply because of the nostalgia, even though it's different from your memories, so it's not nostalgia.
Yeah.
Simply because of the nostalgia and the fact that it makes me look at things I used to believe were only harmless children's games shows and second guess them. Sort of like creepy dolls and mannequins. No, not even close. Guess I don't have the same taste in horror as most people in this site. No, you do!
Yeah,
you have the same type. You have the same
As
taste
a
in
lot of
horror as
people.
pretty much all the people, except for the people that critique it like us.
So are the
But
people.
whatever, different strokes and all. It's not the
Does this
phrase.
classify as a critique?
Anyway, you get a solid 8.5 out of 10 from me.
It's more like a riff. One word.
Wow. 1 out of 10. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. 1 out of 10 extra point for the pick.
Wow, it's almost 2 hours that I'm reading creepypasta stories. I have an headache. 8 out of 10.
Me too. SuicideMouse.avi, Denbart, and Squidward Suicide all mixed together!
True.
It wasn't bad, except the ending paragraph made it a little cheesy. The rest of it was good.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. What else have we got? I think I'll prefer the second one better. And another thing, what? Do they mean when they said that thing about Pokemon?
Random picture of Link. I love Legend of Zelda. Sorry, that was out of the blue. Yes, it was!
Very atmospheric. Yeah.
No, atmospheric, no! That's not what atmospheric means.
Can Firewall block the Trojans virus? It's just like he thought it was like a computer help for him. Screw you! I love Pokemon.
Markiplier revealed that he didn't like Pokemon. What now, atheists? I think this is good, although the beginning could have been better with how the file came or something. 7 out of 10. This is like me writing reviews. Like, I think this is good, but it could have been good.
Yeah. I just like that one with the
Anyway, yeah.
Legend of Zelda picture.
So, yeah. That was all for Creepypasta for today, folks. I enjoyed this a lot, and we have some new... We could probably do some more Lost Episode ones in the future.
And
so,
other stuff.
Stay tuned for more pastas in the future. Thank you all for watching. I love doing this show, and thank you guys for 800 subscribers. Like, yes!
Yes!
And
I love Legend of Zelda.
I love Legend of Zelda too. I mean,
Sorry, that was out of the blue.
yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, guys. Thank you guys for watching Alpha Creepypasta, and we'll see you the next time we do an episode. I love Legend of Zelda!